Well, this isn't a video that I expected to be making. The Boston Bruins have traded Taylor Hall and Nick Foligno to the Chicago Blackhawks for prospects Ian Mitchell and Alec Regula. Who the fuck are those two? But before we get to those, we gotta rip the Band-Aid off. We gotta rip the Band-Aid off and just... Excuse me for 1 second. Okay. Taylor Hall was a fantastic player for the Boston Bruins. I loved him. I was extremely giddy when I heard that the Bruins traded Anders Bjork and a second-round pick to Buffalo for the rights to Curtis Lazar, who I was kind of happy for, and Taylor Hall, who I was extremely happy for. One of the dumbest moves that Kevin Adams has ever made. And one of the best moves that Don Sweeney has made. And honestly, I think Don Sweeney is a lot better. Honestly, I think that Don Sweeney is a lot better than we give him credit for. But this trade right here, the thing about this trade that irks me the most is, how do you not hold out for a second-round pick from Chicago here? Chicago has 2 second-round picks in the top 50. 2 second-round picks in the top 50. And you hold out for neither of them. You do not get either of them. You are not picking a single player until the 92nd overall pick. The only 2 teams who do not have an earlier pick than you are the Ottawa Senators, who made it very clear that they're pushing for playoffs in the near future by getting players like Alex DeBrincat, and Tampa, who just decide, you know what, fuck it, we ball, and traded pretty much the entire draft for Tanner Jeannot. Still a dumb trade. But you are not picking until the 92nd overall pick in one of the deepest drafts of all time. And yes, it is a deep draft. You still need to pick because you have not picked well in the past. The biggest criticism from Bruce Cassidy is, he would never play the young guys. Here's the thing. We never had good young guys for him to play. The only, come on. Really, we had DeBrusk, Carlo, McAvoy, and Swayman. That's really it. Those, and Pasternak, but Pasternak was already well established when Pasternak was already kind of getting to that well established phase of his career when Cassidy came in after Julien got fired. So my thing about this is that Cassidy never played the young guys. We never really had good young guys for him to play. We had 4, and that was it. In fact, I saw an amazing stat the other day. That was between 2018 and today, right now. The Bruins have only had 1 draft pick that has played NHL minutes, and that is Jacob Lauka. Every other draft pick that they have squandered. Jacob Lauka is the only draft pick that they have had since 2018 that is played NHL minutes, and he's only played 22 games. Granted, he is going to be a starter next season. He is going to be a really good player next season. And in fact, just off the dome, I can already tell you 3 players who I think are going to make statements next season. who I think actually no, they're not going to make statements, but they're at least going to make appearances. Those being Johnny Beecher, Georgi Merkulov, and Mason Lohrei. But I'm getting a little bit off track. I'm getting a little bit off track. I'm talking about the second round pick. But yeah, I don't understand why this wasn't just Ian Mitchell and the second round. And either 35 or when is their other one? Hold on. 2023 NHL draft. 2023 NHL draft. If their other second round pick is 44. I don't understand how we don't come out of this with either the 35th or the 44th overall pick. And we could have, because Taylor Hall here, fantastic. Taylor Hall was a very, very good player here. He, like, in his, I'm looking at his elite prospects right now. Oh, he gets traded here in the middle of the, near the tail end of the COVID shortened seat. Of the East Division, East Central, West and North Division in season, and he comes in 8 goals, 6 assists, 14 points in 16 games. Very next season, he follows it up with 20 goals, 41 assists for 61 points in 81 games. That is really good at his age. And then this year on the third line, which let's not mince words here. Taylor Hall was only on the third line because we had an excess of talent, like with Bergeron, with Bergie, Marshy, DeBrusque, Krejci, Zaka, Pasta, Bert and who is it? And frickin' who's the last one I'm thinking about? And Hall, Taylor Hall. Well, with all three of those, I don't see how Taylor Hall doesn't get moved to the third line, and just on the basis of we have a glut of talent. But even still, 36 points, including 16 goals, and then in the playoffs, following it up with 5 goals and 3 assists for 8 points in 7 games. That's still really good production. That is still fantastic production. It's not Hart Trophy Taylor Hall that we saw back in like 2017. God no, I don't think that we're ever getting that Taylor Hall again. But it's still respectable. But it's still respectable. Well, and here's what I learned with this trade. It's that going into the offseason, Sweeney, Neely, Monty, all the guys who make the decisions had two options on their plate. They either keep Hall and let Bertuzzi walk, or they keep Bertuzzi and they trade away Hall. There was no way that we were going to be able to afford both of them, because Taylor Hall, Bruins cap friendly. Taylor Hall, he was like he was like $6 million against the cap. He was very expensive. Not exactly someone who is going to be not exactly someone who's going to command not exactly someone who you want to be taking up that much space on the third line. So we kind of had to make this decision. we kind of had to let one of the two walk. Everybody and their mother was looking at the goalie situation, and I was more so looking at this situation: is do we keep Bertuzzi and trade Hall, or do we keep Hall and let Bertuzzi walk? And I think honestly, this is sort of the case of executives getting obsessed with the shiny new toy. Bertuzzi, fantastic player. I loved Bertuzzi, and I still love him. I think that honestly, if you put Hall in the same position as Bertuzzi, he would have played exactly as well. I honestly think that the difference between Hall and Bertuzzi is kind of negligible. I think honestly Hall might even be just a little bit better on defense. But he also took up a lot more. Space on the cap. So we had to trade him. And that is the reconciliation that I think we all have to make here, is that this was not exactly an easy decision, but it's the decision that we had to it's a decision that we had to make. There was no way that we were going to afford both. There was no way that we were going to be able to afford both of them coming back. Now, Nick Foligno, of last year, I was frustrated with him. Very frustrated. And honestly, I think that we all were frustrated with him. He was not great. Only two goals and 11 assists for 13 points in 64 games on the bottom line. Which, he's on the bottom line, so you kind of expect him to not do well. But at the same time, he also was pretty bad. He was also a -13 back during that. But this past year under Monty, he completely turned it around. 10 goals, 16 assists for 26 points in 60 games. He did all of that in 4 less games. And this year was a -18. Fantastic. Not -18. He was a +18. Fantastic play from him this year. But he was another guy he was $3.8 million against the cap. And as much as I loved him in the locker room, as much as I loved him on the ice, he was another guy that we had to make space. We had to make the space to be able to. We had to make some sort of space on this team, and he was another one where it sucks that we have to get rid of him. But at the same time, do you really want $4 million devoted to the bottom line, devoted to one player on the bottom line? I don't really think so. I really don't think so. Oh. And this is someone who loves Nick Foligno. I was almost ready to get an Uncle Nick jersey, and I'm gonna miss Uncle Nick. I'm really going to miss Uncle Nick, and I'm also going to miss Halsey. Both of them, still special places in my heart. And honestly, I'm going to. But there's one thing that frustrates me about this trade for Chicago. Oh, people are saying that these two players are going to be important pieces to their rebuild. The thing that frustrates me about this is the fact that Chicago is going through a rebuild. Now, it's true. Chicago sucks. Chicago is an awful organization. Not just on the ice, but off the ice. I freaking hate the Chicago Blackhawks, and for everything that they put Kyle Beach through. They will never be a respectable hockey organization in my mind, and for that. But at the same time, even through all of that, the fact that this team says that they're going through a rebuild, there are two very important pieces of there were two very important pieces to the Chicago Blackhawks rebuild that they got rid of a few years ago. I swear to God, if Chicago still had Kirby Dach and Adam Boqvist, they wouldn't be in the situation that they're in. They wouldn't have tanked for Bedard. They would be a middling team, but they still wouldn't be this horse shit. Like, they traded them to get significantly older. They signed Seth Jones to the worst quite possibly the worst contract the league has seen since Colton Parayko's contract in St. Louis. Is like, what the hell, Chicago? I swear to God, this team had no idea what this team hit 2015 and decided, I don't know what the hell to do now. I don't understand Chicago. No. But let's talk about the return. Ian Mitchell. Oh. He is... Hold on. Sorry, I'm again looking him up. Ian Mitchell, 24 years old. It's 57th overall pick in 2017 from Chicago. And he was actually in Denver for a decent. He was actually in Denver for Jim Montgomery's last season of coaching in Denver. So who knows? This could actually be a decent scheme fit for him. Judging by his points production of less than of not really doing too much in the few opportunities that he's been given in a total of 16 points with four goals, 12 assists for 16 points in 39 plus 8 is 47 plus 5 is 52 plus 30 is 82. 16 points in 82 NHL games played. I don't know. He seems like a more defensive defenseman. Although his AHL stats in 2021-2022 of 11 goals, 24 assists for 35 goals and for 35 points and it's in 57 in games. That kind of speaks to him having a decent offensive touch, and I think that under Monty he might be able to bring that back out. Especially since let's look at his last season and his first season in Denver, which was Monty's last season in Denver. 2 goals, 28 assists for 30 points and 41 in games and 17 and a plus 17. I think that Monty might be able to bring out some good in Mitchell. And hilariously enough, Alec Regula, second in trending on Elite Prospects, because everybody is trying to see like who the hell the Bruins got for Foligno and Hall. Alec Regula, not really that impressive. Third round pick, I think 67th overall in 2018 by the Red Wings. And sorry, with not much ice time in the majors, only 1 point only 1 point in 22 games, and that is one goal. In 1 goal in 22 games in the NHL. However, down in the minors, he has 9 goals for 9 goals. 22 plus 60. Sorry, I'm trying to do math right here. 22 plus 6. 9 goals, 38 assists for 47 points in just in 92 games. That's not bad. I don't know really. I really don't know what to. As a defenseman, I could see him being a decent 7th defenseman for the Bruins. I can honestly see Mitchell being our 6th. Especially since I really don't see us signing Clifton or Orlov. Excuse me. I can also see us buying out both Riley and Forbort. But that's really it. My biggest problem with this trade is that we didn't get a 2nd round pick. I am at peace with us losing Taylor Hall. I'm at peace with us losing Taylor Hall because I knew that was one of the things that we need that was going to happen in this offseason. What I'm not okay with is with an admittedly kind of shallow prospect pool. Like we have, who is it? We have Beecher, Lori, Merkelov, Lysell, Harrison, Kuntar, Bussy. Like, we have 7 decent prospects, but five of them are forwards, and like Lori's our only good defensive prospect right now. And honestly, so I honestly kind of want to see us get a 2nd round pick and use it on a defenseman. I mean, there's still the chance that we could trade up into the 2nd round with some sort of crazy shenanigans, but I don't know. But that's not the only trade that the Bruins made today. The Bruins also made a 1-for-1 trade with the Devils. Damn, we love making 1-for-1 trades with the Devils. Last year it was Holla for Zaka, and this time it is Shane Bowers going to the Devils in exchange for defenseman Riley Walsh. Now this actually helps us out with the. Now this actually, believe it or not, this helps us out with the defensive prospect issue because honestly Bowers wasn't really doing anything. Bowers has not had. Bowers has only had one year in which he Bowers has only had 2 years in which he's had double-digit points in the AHL. As a former first-round pick forward. Meanwhile, we go to Riley Walsh, a good boy from Framingham, and back-to-back 40-point seasons from this man. Back-to-back 40-point seasons from this man in Utica. Last year, 9 goals, 34 assists for 33 points in 70 games. And in 2022-2023, 9 goals, 32 assists for 41 points in 71 games. That's not bad. I would gladly take that over whatever the hell Shane Bowers is doing. And honestly, I love this trade. Zaboral, we have been waiting for him to break out. We have been waiting, and I feel like if we keep waiting for Jacob Zaboral to break out, I'm gonna be on my deathbed waiting for Jacob Zaboral to break out into a quality offensive defenseman. This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. I can wholeheartedly see Utica. I can not Utica. I can wholeheartedly see Riley Walsh as a quality starting defenseman, and maybe even a seventh. He could honestly be our seventh instead of Regula. I can see Regula going down to the minors and Walsh being our seven. And I think that's really it. I think decent trade. The big trade that we had, decent in concept. But not only do I hate that the team that we traded them to, we didn't even get the big piece that we didn't even get the piece that would have made us a better team. Which honestly, with all the talks about the goalies, is sort of my thing. If we were to trade Allmark, if we don't get a first round pick out of the trade, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. If we don't get a first round pick or at the very least a very high second round pick, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear. You can wipe your ass with that trade. If that or if we don't get one of those pick a decently high pick, or if we don't get a star player. I'm talking like Sam Reinhart type player at the very, very floor. At the very floor of that trade is Sam Reinhart. That is the worst player that I'm willing to take for Omar. If we don't get a player like him, or if we don't get at least one first round pick from an Allmark trade, I don't want to hear it. But this trade, decent in concept. Hate the team that they went to. Don't really like the turn. Don't really like the return. Second trade, I love it. Pristine steal by Sweeney. I think that honestly this is going to be an underrated. I think that honestly this second trade is going to be an underrated one, and I'm going to, and we're going to be looking at Sweeney like, how did you work your magic with this one, and then how did you completely faceplant here? How did you completely faceplant with the Hall on Fliggy trade, and then rise so high to the occasion on this one? And that's really it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys when that goddamn what is it? The hype video is done. I hate that I keep putting it off. I swear to God, it is entire. I swear to God, I'm not gonna make an excuse. That hype video is going to be out, well, very soon. Very soon. You can count on it. And this is me, over and out.